All right, guys. Sorry about that. Had some technical difficulties before this, so welcome. I just flew back from the No Kings rallies. Boy, are my arms tired. Um, no, the No Kings rallies were this weekend. If you didn't hear about them, I don't know how you wouldn't have. Whether you were actually attending them or just roasting them online, a lot of people were pretty vocal against the protests, which makes me laugh again still. I don't know why people are so vocal against it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. That's okay. There's some things that I see that I don't go to. I don't get the FOMO. I don't get the, well, what are they doing? They're just wasting their Saturdays. But to each their own. And it looks like this was the third one. If I had to bet money, there's going to be more of them still. I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason to when they actually are scheduled or anything like that. It doesn't seem. It just seems like we can pick out a weekend. I do like that they do the weekend though too, because it kind of eliminates that excuse of, well, some people have jobs, that's why we can't go protest at the state house, or ripping on the protesters because they don't have jobs. Like that's some qualification to protest, whether or not you're working. Again, well, it just bugs me too, because like when you saw the lines for the TSA stuff, how come nobody ever says that? Like, where the hell are all those people going? Why are they all going at the same time? Nobody's asking like, well, shouldn't they be working? No, just mind your own business. Just be glad you're not in the line. I don't know. God, I would hate that. I hate lines. Well, let's get to some signs. Ooh, we got a comment. I got to get better at the comments. Drew. Yeah, Drew in the chat. Half of them had no idea what they were protesting. I think there was some truth. Not no idea, but I think there were people that were wanting to protest, their feelings about Iran or about the Epstein files or about certain aspects of the Trump administration and Congress. I had a buddy who he recently became born again. He was baptized, and he's really done like a shift of how he discusses politics and everything. He responded to one of the memes, the only king is Christ, and I'm like, yeah, I think everybody's cool with that. We're not, it has nothing to do with that. He said that it's clearly just about Trump, and it would be better if it was about specific issues. And my point to that is that there's a lot of big issues within that administration still. We'll get to Iran later. We'll talk about Rob Schneider saying that the draft should be reinstated. He can do it, He always says, like, you can do it. I'm not going to do the impression. Just ever since he started wearing that stupid hat, I just can't anymore. But yeah, we'll do that. We're going to introduce a word of the day because I've been watching Hammer and Nigel recently, and the chat has been so fun in there. If you guys aren't listening to Hammer and Nigel, you guys missing out. I think it's on 93.1 WIBC from like 3 to 6, I think. Yeah, they're very right wing. Hammer especially. It cracks me up. He's also a Cubs fan, so it's like we just, I think we're gonna be like mortal enemies. But like, it's funny because he's kind of a dick, but in a funny way too. So it's pretty easy to it's easy to get along and listen to them. And the best thing about recently too, Nigel, I feel like has been pretty weary of the Trump administration and the moves in Iran and stuff. So it's funny watching, like, there be cracks in the foundations and stuff. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, tune into that. That's always a fun time. But yeah, we're gonna do a word of the day, and then we're gonna look into see how much golf Trump is playing. I know Drew loves playing golf. There's nothing wrong with playing golf, and I feel like a retired president should be able to play all the golf he wants. Really, it shouldn't matter. I just, if you're in a war or you're, in charge of troops, I don't see how it gives the appearance that you're taking the weekend off. Like every weekend he's going down to Mar-a-Lago and golfing. And I mean, that can't be cheap, but at least the club is, the clubs get money, so that's great for them. It's good for the economy in general, I think. So let's look at some of the No Kings protests. So we got some of the signs, some of the ones that I thought were funny, at least. There's one with Putin and little Donald. It says, "I love you, Daddy." I don't know who do you think Daddy is in that one? I think Putin is. There seems to be a lack of purchased signs. So anybody in the chat want to throw in an idea of, is this just to throw off the scent? That they're not being there's Tommy. All right. But none of these were the people paid. These all look like just regular old folks just out on a Saturday with handmade signs. I do like that the spelling, I didn't see a lot of spelling errors, but again, I don't really care because at this point, the message gets across. I wonder also if anybody else did find one, any signs that they liked. I like this. It says, "If you know, you know, they gotta go." That one says Kinks McTaco Tits. Little Smoky. Moses Mike Johnson. Or wait, is that Grinder? Lady Graham. Caroline KKK Levitt. I think over to the right there, it says "Arrest the President," and then I think that's in homage to the Epstein letter that President Trump wrote to Jeffrey Epstein. And I don't know if you guys know about that or not, if you guys have heard about the Epstein files. We've been pretty inundated with things about the war in Iran and things like that. So it feels like the Epstein files kind of took a back seat there, and I don't know why. It's so weird. I mean, Lady Graham, yeah, I can agree with that too. See, yeah, and then what is sociopathic Nazi Jew Stephen Miller? That just seems like a contradiction on so many levels. They're eating the Constitution. This actually goes in line with the word of the day, which we'll get to in a little bit. But again, in reference to President Trump during a friggin' nationally televised debate saying that people in Ohio are going to eat the dogs and they're eating the cats. Wasn't a lie. He wasn't lying. Don't worry. These are the ones from Anderson. It says Antifa, Angry Grandma Rising. Again, a lot of the, I feel like a lot of the comments, like the negative comments about the crowd was always, oh, they're, old white people. I'm like, well, there's a lot of old white people in the nation, I guess, too. So I did like that they were all, for the most part, peaceful. I didn't hear about anything that specific, but look at the nice artwork. Again, I don't know if it's at like the critics of this might be jealous that they don't have the artistic ability to, to draw Joe Biden in a comical way. Maybe that's it. Like they need to improve their Joe Biden stuff. I like this. My dog ate the Epstein files. It's a little cartoon there, Cash Patel. Trump is a weapon of mass destruction. Make democracy great again. I was a little worried about that one because every time you say we live in a democracy, there's some dipwad that comes along and goes, it's actually a constitutional republic. And it is. But, don't be that guy. Gas prices shouldn't be higher than Afro Man. Look at that. Like, they're using the news, current events. I like this one too. It says, does this ass make my country look small? And I think the ass is referring to Donald or President Trump. I'm sorry. This one I liked. This one was probably my favorite. And it says, I love dick. I love tater. I hate dictators. That is just good wordplay all around, if you fall into those groups, I guess. So, free balls for the GOP because they don't have theirs. And look at the little no king crown on a toddler. Yeah, Bilberry. All right, Bilberry in the chat too. Yeah, Chris talking about, oh man, Randy, what's his face? Hopefully his connection is way better in upcoming debates or whatever the hell he does. But if you don't want to tell your constituents about background, I feel like you're fighting an uphill battle. Like they want to know about you, and you have to convince them to vote for you. So why would you not tell them about stuff? I hope it was Randy What's His Nuts. Another one over here. See, and I knew, and my whole thing was like, oh, was Whitty at the No Kings March? That was what I was gonna say, but I didn't want to. See, you guys, you beat me to it. That is hilarious. I love dick. I love taters. I love dictators. It's like if you like fish sticks, are you a gay fish? Wait, he now filed. So it was the Randy guy. He filed a tort claim against the sheriff, against Sproles. Oh Jesus! Henry County, every county in Indiana too. My hat's off to people paying attention to county politics. I am woefully undereducated about Madison County politics, and I will say it. I don't know how people have enough time in their day to look at every facet of government that may be taking advantage of the public. And when you look at it at a federal level, there's so much. At a state level, there's so much. Even in towns, it's just never ending. And so, Bilberry, like Political Spotlight, you guys do a great job about keeping people up to date about things, and it doesn't really take that much effort to listen in for a couple minutes at a time. Even like, I think people got to get out of their own way of listening to things. So yeah, and exactly, Bill. Like we do have a shit show up here too. Like in Madison County, like there's no, it's that kind of stuff's everywhere. So and then Tommy, some were woefully informed about national. See, yeah. Tommy, I love arguing with you, man. It's always a good time. But look, okay, so You pissed off the grandmothers. Okay, they're out there. Look at that. Again, these are all handmade signs. So please, can somebody tell me where they're getting these paychecks from Soros, or these professional looking signs that Pam Bondi was talking about when she testified in front of the House? It's like, what are we actually looking at? Hey, Bo. All right, so let's look here again. Look at just peace begins within. I like that too. Full of shiticus. Look at that. And see, again, my dog has more balls than Congress. I like that sign because it's not just saying that, the No Kings rallies are kind of all encompassing for a lot of things that are, bothering people. It's not just Donald Trump only, but there is more. And I mean, my Trump derangement syndrome, I've accepted it, welcomed it as a part of my life. And I joined a support group today on Facebook. It's actually like a TDS group. It's not a support group. I just joined it. It's a regular group. And there's people on both sides. I'll share a little bit with it later, but it's a ridiculous, ridiculous site. Well, let's go, because I wanted to talk about the responses, because that's one of my favorite things is how angry and upset MAGA has become. I do like this one. This one was probably one of my favorites. It says, "Look at me, I'm the snowflake now." Because for a long time, here it is. Okay, so this is the website, or this is the Facebook group that I joined. And it's for Trump derangement syndrome, but people on both sides are on there talking, they're arguing the same things, both accusing each other of having Trump derangement syndrome. But this one is Trump denial syndrome, where some people might have TDS, and this might be you listening. Apparently, I didn't even hear about this, but Trump denial syndrome is basically that you can't, that you always deny that he did anything wrong. And I didn't know if people in MAGA felt that there was any truth to that. I highly doubt it would be admitted, but people change, and if you feel that in your heart now, you can say that. Maybe you don't agree with all of this stuff anymore. Maybe you think that Iran is a complete shit show, and that he has no plan to get out, because he has to look like the winner. See, now I'm just slipped into mine. So again, I did not even know that Trump denial syndrome. So I think, if anything, I'm gonna have to ask people to specify when they say, "Brad, you have TDS." They're gonna have to specify whether it's denial syndrome or derangement. It's like two sides of the same coin, really, at this point. But this one was from Jerry Lopez. Jerry Lopez was guest hosting on Hammer and Nigel last week. Did a great job. He's going to be on this week too, so listen in. His one says, a reminder that people at No Kings also what is it? Oh, they protested the arrest of Maduro. And then the best part of all this ignorance is that no Republican has ever called Trump a king. Liberals put that label on him and then protest their own stupidity. No, I don't think Republicans have ever called Trump a king. They just, they wear a gauze over their ear like him. They wear all of his name, his actual name, on so much stuff. There was one person talking about coordinated outfits. They were mad about No Kings protests having coordinated outfits. And the idea that anybody in MAGA can say that, will like say that while wearing like their red hat, saying "Make America Great Again," 45 minus 47 for some reason. I hate that. Don't use the dash mark in between 45 and 47 on your stupid hats. Just don't have that. Okay. Just don't have it. This actually was my favorite of probably the people complaining. It says no kings and uniting with, or no kings is uniting with no dinosaurs and no unicorns for a combined no brains rally this weekend. And one of my friends, Tony, he sent me a congratulations text yesterday, on the fact that we don't have kings still. And I appreciated it, that was, but again, there are people complaining about things. There's the no brains rally sign, featuring zero critical thinking. Well, I don't know, but if Dan Bongino is telling me to think critically about, I don't know what he does anymore. Sorry, he upset me today just because popped in my head. See, Bongino derangement syndrome too. Leave your facts at home. Leave your nuance and leave your independent thought at home. I again disagree with that, but so let's talk about Iran and go that route. Let me see. Let me get the clip up here. Okay, so with Iran, I actually am having a hard time understanding what the goal is. I know that Trump actually was asked about the bombing of the school. That's one thing that I wanted to know about because I was like on the first day, and it reminded me of the October 7th terrorist attack, where there's just kids, like there are children being killed, and like it shouldn't really matter what side anyone's on. Again, it's like, don't, there are targets and then there are civilians, and that crossed the line in like the first day. But I wanted to play what he said.
And bombed its own elementary school on the first day of the war. But you're the only person in your government saying this. Even your defense secretary, when he was asked, standing over your shoulder on your plane on Saturday. Why are you the only person saying this?
Because I just don't know enough about it. I think it's something that I was told is under investigation. But tomahawks are used by others, as you know. Numerous other nations have tomahawks. They buy them from us. But I will certainly, whatever the report shows, I'm willing to live with that report.
Okay, and so that was a couple weeks ago too, and there hasn't been an update in some time. Oh man, all I do think about is tomahawk steaks when I hear those. And again, the Pete Hegseth probably bought a lot of those too. He might have to, yeah, he probably has to do that at press conferences and ask, like, do you mean the steaks or the missiles? Tommy, you do bring up the point. Iran murdered 35,000 of their own people. How many kids were there? And that sounds horrible. Like, I don't want to. I mean, that regime needs to be changed. But how is that difficult to convince the U.S. public that that regime needs to be changed, or that we need to intervene if those kind of things are happening? We have other countries who are our actual rivals or our actual enemies in, I always, again, go back to Cold War, Russia, China. They are our opponents basically for global power. And Trump just gives them free passes all the time. And then he goes into Venezuela, South America. it makes no sense to me. Choking on my own rage again. And Woody brings up Rocky versus Drago. I'm all for just letting, you pick your toughest guy, I'll pick my toughest guy, and then we'll go from there. US will just keep playing until we win. So, and yeah, like the World Baseball Classic, though, we were humiliated because of Jerry Lopez's New York Yankees captain just whiffing. And he's carrying that on to the season, Jerry. Just carrying that on. So many strikeouts. Not like Murakami. 3 home runs in 3 games, 162 home runs. Doing it. Actually, wait. No, I got to go soon. Sorry. Let's get to the word of the day because I want to do that. Word of the day is hyperbole. Hyperbole means an exaggeration, such as mile-high ice cream cones. For the love of God, Trump talks in hyperbole all the time to the point where there's really nothing different from him. Like his speeches are all the same because everything's the best, everything's the best he's ever seen, or the lowest numbers he's ever seen, or the highest numbers he's ever seen, if necessary. I did want to bring Jerry Lopez and Jason Hammer talking about it here.
Dear President Donald J. Trump, my name is Jerry Lopez, and I absolutely love you as my president. I think you've done a fantastic job. But if you would shut up, we would all be a lot. He's like the Terrell Owens of presidents. I know you had 4 touchdowns. You don't have to tell me, dude. I need you to be more like Marvin Harrison. Just play the game.
Okay, so what do you mean by that? What did he say?
Oh, I love that.
We've ever seen. It's the best we've ever done. I'm the great dude. We know you're smacking them over there. You killed the Ayatollah day one. As a counterterrorism analyst, Ayatollah Khomeini has been on my radar for years. I've known about that. Ahmadinejad, ex-president of Iran, same deal. You got them in the first quarter. That was your end game. You wanted to get him. You got him immediately. Now just be quiet, man. The best president of our lifetimes will be Donald Trump's policy and Barack Obama doing all the talking.
Boy, you just ran the gamut right there, and I can't wait to see the YouTube comments.
Jerry Lopez just laying down, a lot of truth in the middle there, but ended with some things I didn't agree with. But hey, that's why I love Jerry. But man, yeah, like even Republicans want some semblance of normalcy, of just seriousness. It feels like it's still being led by very unserious people. It's more about making YouTube or Facebook videos or TikTok videos, and I don't know why the Department of Defense has like a little glitch, like it's like a J.J. Abrams movie. At the end of it now, it's all so manufactured and weird. And another thing too, I don't know why the apparently the age to enlist was raised to 42, which is how old I am right now. And I'm not doing that, but it was a weird it's a weird contrast because all I heard last year was about how great recruiting numbers were, how everything is just ready to go since Biden, had nothing but DEI in there, and now they're replacing it with merit. If anybody actually thinks that these were all merit hires, again, that'll be the word of the day next week. Then we'll go there and talk about merit. But with the hyperbole, I think we're all tired of just not being able to believe what he's actually talking about. And it shouldn't matter what side you're on. I would want a president to tell us what the hell is going on, not saying, tell us, exact war plans, because I know that's, he's not going to tell them what they're going to attack. Dude, he just tweeted out last week about, if Iran doesn't do this, we're going to start bombing the power plants, starting with the largest ones first. He is explaining to them what will happen. So I don't know how there's no explanation about, okay, well, what are the next steps in this war? How do we get out without having boots on the ground? How do we get, I feel like all we're doing is we're riling up a country to want to fight us later on now again. And we're just creating new generations of people who hate America in Iran by, I don't even know what, like, it's a difficult thing to grasp and get a hold of, I think. And I don't know that Donald Trump is up for it. I think he's still too worried about his ballroom. Again, oh man, we need to do an update on the ballroom next week too. But yeah, that's one more thing too. Rob Schneider. Actually, we'll talk about that on Tuesday because a little bit over now. But I started looking into clavicular too. Witty, if you're still in the chat, holy God, that guy is an abomination. That whole style and drive of maxing. I want to talk more about that at some point too, because God, I hope young men have better role models than that. So, but yeah, next week we'll do all the stuff that I forgot to do this week. So, all right, everybody, take care. Love you. Thank you.